Hello and welcome to the video. Today we'll be going over how to replace the BCM or battery control module on the SL55. These are known to combust and blow up or go out in general by jump starting it, or pushing a lot of electricity through it by jump starting it or trickle charging it. Nevertheless, when they do combust, they can total a car, and from what I heard, by replacing them with a newer one should be able to resolve the combustion problem. However, if you do see this red light come up on your dash, it could be a number of things that it's warning you about, such as the alternator going bad, the BCM not doing its job appropriately, or the fuse in the passenger footwell that needs to be replaced. It could be any sort of thing, but when you put it through a scanner, it should tell you exactly what the problem is. For us, it was the alternator, which we replaced in the last video, the BCM, which we are replacing in this video, and in the following video, we're going to be replacing the fuse in the passenger footwell, which controls the alternator charging the starter battery. And this video will be really helpful if you're trying to just get it done within an hour and a half or so, but for me it probably took me 30 minutes once I had everything together. Now let's get to the video. Really quickly, if you haven't already, please follow my Instagram at Mr. I post there frequently, and I also run polls to see what everyone thinks about future mods, future ideas for videos, and etc. Not to mention, I have a ton of sneak peeks on what's to come with the build. Again, that's at Mr. Now back to the video. Step 1 of getting the module replaced. There are 2 screws over here that's holding the trunk partition in place, so you undo those 2 screws and we'll move on to the next step. Alright, now that you've undone the screws, hold this up. It's going to take 2 hands to get it out. Now that that is loose, it is time to undo these few clips right here. They just push out. Once you get those clips undone, there's 1 clip there. There's about 4 or 5 clips over here, and then another one there. Once those clips are undone, it should come out. Through the use of this tool, we're going to undo the clip. There we go. Should just pop right out, and then do the rest. After removing that clip, you're going to notice that the middle portion of the trunk partition is held in by buttons. Easily removable. Unbutton those, and then on the opposite side of that clip, there's going to be another clip holding it in. Undo that, and you should be able to remove the trunk partition. And with that, the trunk partition is now off. Now then, once you have removed those, there are 2 screws holding on this panel. Remove those. There's this tab right here holding the panel in place. Push that out. Push that tab out. That goes out. Once you have snapped your clip off, undo this. Pop right out. It should slide right out. That being done, undo these. Grab your tabs, place them right there. Now then, you're going to have to undo this. I wanted to pause right here really quickly to go over this cover I'm removing. This cover is essentially the arm that holds the trunk open on the opposite end when the varial roof comes down. Now, if you wanted to replace the BCM, you could put the varial roof or the trunk on that service position. However, I personally did not want to do that because I would have to turn the car on and I would have to move the trunk that way. And then doing all of that is a little bit of a hassle. The way the trunk is set up, you might hit your head against it. If you are replacing a hydraulic line or anything that means, it's probably best that you put the trunk in that service position. If you want to know how to do that, my video on how to remove every single panel inside the trunk in an R230 will show you how to do that. Make sure you don't lose that screw. Undo this. I have to undo this. I broke my tab, but it's going to be the same exact process. With that being done, should be able to lift this up. Get both sides out because then you're going to have to take out the tab. Our next step is to completely remove this, so make sure you take off all of these little inserts right here. All of that removed, it should just come right up. And do that. Okay, so what I ended up doing was just moving this to the side, and then it should become a lot more accessible for you to just pick up and hold up against somewhere. I'll show you what I did. Alright, so I just propped my piece up like this. I used it against the, that's what I used. Yeah, but anyway, it doesn't really matter to me because this right here, that pops out 10 on all four corners. Alright, grab your 10mm. Start undoing this on all four corners, and then it's 10. That's a 10. And that's it for this video. Honestly, the remaining steps are pretty self-explanatory. You just undo all the nuts that are holding the BCM in. Make sure you don't lose any because I know I lost one for sure. So be sure to take your time when you're removing these nuts. After replacing the BCM, it's pretty easy to put everything back together the way you took it out. Just make sure when you're putting everything back together that these cables that are dangling, they're stacked the way that Mercedes had them stacked as you were taking them out. So before you do take out the cables, take a picture of them or use this guide as a reference, but they should stack in a specific order. There's no wrong way to really stack them as long as it fits comfortably, and that the way it fits comfortably is the right way to stack them up. And for us, after replacing the starter battery, the alternator, and the BCM, our red battery light was still on, and if that's the case for you, I recommend going ahead and hooking it up to a scanner again, seeing what the problem was. We did that, and then we saw that the starter fuse was out. Locating it was crazy hard to find because it's not in the fuse boxes. It's actually located under the passenger footwell, and getting to that is a hassle because not only are you positioned in a super awkward angle, but you also have to go ahead in there with tools and lights to remove that panel to get to that fuse, and getting to that fuse is honestly something my dad hated doing, but I caught it on video so you guys could do this at home. Do it with 2 people. It's probably going to be a lot easier that way as opposed to doing it by yourself. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and please check out my Instagram if you haven't already. I post a lot of updates there, and there's a lot more coming to the car in the future videos. Thanks again for watching.